Daniel showed up on a rainy Monday morning, the kind of morning when everyone at Green Mart already felt 10 steps behind. The store manager, Paul, was barking orders before the doors even opened, and the employees moved with that sluggish reluctance of people who knew they were in for a long shift. No one was in the mood for surprises, which, of course, made Daniel's arrival feel even more inconvenient. He stood near the time clock holding a crumpled HR form like it was written in another language. His store vest hung crookedly off his shoulders, and he wore an apologetic smile that only made him look more out of place. His hair was slightly damp from the rain, and his shoes, definitely not regulation, squeaked with every tiny movement. "Great," muttered Brent from produce. "Another newbie who's gonna ask where the bathrooms are every 5 minutes." Nobody bothered welcoming him. In fact, most of the staff made a point to keep walking, hoping management would assign him to someone else. Training a new person meant slowing down, losing time, and dealing with questions. Always questions. Mia was restocking gum displays at the front register when she noticed him standing alone, looking like a misplaced customer. She watched for a moment, how he scanned the store as if trying to decode the entire operation at once, how he tried to straighten his vest and failed. Something about his uncertainty tugged at her. She knew exactly what it felt like to be abandoned on day one. She'd lived through it 2 years earlier, when she was hired at 18 and left to figure it out. Paul finally spotted Daniel. "Right, you're the new temp. Shelf stocking. Someone show him the ropes." No one moved. Paul's eyes darted over the staff. Brent suddenly found a fascinating spot on the floor. Tasha from bakery pretended not to hear. Even Sam, who normally helped new hires, slipped into the back room like a cat avoiding a bath. Mia sighed and set down the gum packs. "I can take him," she offered quietly. Paul didn't even look relieved, more like indifferent. "Good. Make sure he doesn't mess anything up." Daniel offered Mia a grateful, slightly embarrassed smile. "Thank you. I'm, clearly off to a great start." "You're fine," she said, gesturing for him to follow. "This place just moves fast, that's all." As they walked toward aisle 3, Daniel seemed overwhelmed by the rows of shelves. "So, where do things go? There's not like a map." Mia bit back a laugh. "There's an inventory sheet. And labels. You'll get used to it." She handed him a box of cereal. "Start with something easy." He took it like it might explode. Carefully, he placed the cereal on the wrong shelf. Mia gently redirected him. "Close, but not exactly. These are granolas. That's the kids section." "Oh, right." He moved the box again. Still wrong. Mia stepped in with a smile that made him relax. "Here, follow the labels underneath. They're in tiny print, but they're there." Daniel looked relieved, almost proud when he finally got it right. "It's like a puzzle," he said, as if this was a revelation. "Sure," Mia said, "a very repetitive puzzle." They worked side by side for a few minutes. Daniel moved slowly, double-checking every placement, while Mia stocked an entire row in the time it took him to finish 3 boxes. Still, she never rushed him or criticized him. She explained things calmly. How to rotate stock, what to do when customers asked questions, which aisles got the most traffic. He listened as if every word mattered. A few aisles away, the other employees snickered. "You see how she's babying him?" Brent whispered. "Bet he won't last the week. Or the day," Tasha added. Mia heard the murmurs but ignored them. Daniel didn't seem to notice. He was too focused on lining up cereal boxes like they were soldiers in formation. When he finally stepped back, he looked genuinely proud. "Hey, that looks pretty good," she said. His face lit up. "Really? I was afraid I'd make everything worse." "You didn't. You're doing fine." Without thinking, she handed him a warm pretzel she'd taken earlier from bakery. "Here, you look like you skipped breakfast." Daniel blinked, caught off guard by the small kindness. Thank you. I didn't think today would go like this." Mia shrugged. "First days rarely do. But you're not alone. I've got you." And for the first time since he entered the store, Daniel's shoulders finally relaxed, as if that single sentence grounded him more than any training manual ever could. The rest of the week revealed a truth Daniel had been warned about but never fully believed. A store's real atmosphere doesn't show up in reports or financial summaries. It lived in the rhythm of the employees, in the way they treated each other when managers weren't looking, and especially in how they treated the customers who needed the most help. And Daniel saw everything, much more than anyone realized. On his second day, he arrived early, hoping to practice stocking before the aisles got crowded. He had barely put on his vest when Brent stormed past him, complaining loudly into his phone about idiot customers who asked the same questions every morning. When he saw Daniel, he smirked. "Oh, look, still here," Brent said. "Didn't scare you off yet?" Daniel smiled politely. "Still learning." "Yeah, try not to get in the way this time." Before Daniel could respond, Mia appeared, clipboard in hand, gently nudging Brent aside. "He's fine. Let him breathe." She shot Daniel an encouraging look, the kind that made him feel anchored. The rest of the morning followed the same pattern. Daniel struggled through tasks, the others rolled their eyes, and Mia quietly stepped in to fix things without making him feel foolish. But what struck Daniel wasn't the frustration, it was the indifference. Most employees didn't seem to care about the job, or the customers, or much of anything except getting through the day. They weren't malicious, just detached. Around noon, a small line formed at Mia's register. Daniel was shadowing her again, trying to learn the system even though she wasn't the person assigned to train him. She didn't mind, he didn't get in her way, and he watched with a focus that felt oddly intense for a temp. A woman in a faded jacket stepped to the front of the line, clutching a basket that held a few essentials: bread, peanut butter, a carton of milk, and children's vitamins. She kept her head down, as if hoping no one would look at her too closely. Mia greeted her with a warm smile, the same one she gave every customer, whether they were cheerful, impatient, or exhausted. "That'll be $18.74, Mia said after scanning everything. The woman fumbled through her wallet. Daniel noticed her hands trembling. When she slid her card through the reader, the machine beeped in that sharp, unforgiving tone everyone recognized. "Declined." The woman's face flushed. She immediately whispered, "I'm so sorry. I must have miscalculated." She picked up the vitamins, hesitated, then set them aside. "Let me just put these back." "You don't have to," Mia began, but the woman shook her head quickly, clearly embarrassed. "It's okay, really. I can manage with just the bread and milk." Behind them, a man in line sighed loudly. "Some of us have places to be." Tasha from bakery walked by and muttered under her breath, "Every week it's something." Daniel swallowed hard. He felt a tightening in his chest. He'd read countless case studies about customer demographics, financial stress patterns, and food insecurity statistics, but none of those numbers ever looked like this woman's trembling hands or her eyes that wouldn't meet anyone else's. Mia didn't hesitate. She slid her own debit card smoothly into the machine as if it were the most natural thing in the world. "Try it again," she said gently to the woman, though she was the one paying. The woman's eyes widened. No, I can't let you." "It's fine," Mia said, her voice soft but firm. "Just pay it forward someday. When you can." The woman froze for a moment, overwhelmed. Then tears welled in her eyes. "Thank you. Really, thank you." She gathered her groceries as if holding something fragile. When she left, the line fell silent. Daniel stared at Mia, stunned. "Do you do that often?" Mia kept scanning items, shrugging modestly. "Only when someone really needs it." "But you didn't even know her." "I don't have to," Mia said. "Sometimes being kind is the easiest part of this job." Daniel watched her closely, not in admiration, something deeper. Something like realization. He had spent years building leadership philosophies, teaching corporate empathy, even implementing programs designed to encourage positive workplace culture. Yet here, in the checkout lane of a grocery store, one cashier silently embodied more genuine compassion than entire leadership seminars. The rest of the employees didn't seem moved. Brent joked about Mia being a charity case. Tasha rolled her eyes, claiming it only encouraged handout seekers. No one else saw the significance. But Daniel did. He saw everything. Later that evening, when the crowds thinned and the floors were being swept, Daniel approached Mia at her register. "What you did today, it mattered." Mia's cheeks reddened slightly. "It was nothing." "It wasn't," he said softly. She smiled, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. "Everyone deserves someone in their corner now and then." Even you. Daniel felt that same shift inside him, a quiet, irreversible click. Mia didn't know who he really was. But she treated him the way a leader wished the world would treat everybody. The announcement wasn't supposed to happen until the following week, but after everything Daniel had witnessed, he knew he couldn't wait any longer. He needed the staff gathered now, before he lost his nerve, before doubt crept in, before anyone could talk him into softening the blow. His disguise had served its purpose. Today the truth would land exactly where it needed to. At 4 p.m. sharp, Paul's voice echoed through the store, all employees to the break area for an urgent meeting. Groans erupted from every corner. Brent abandoned a half-unpacked crate of apples. Tasha dusted flour from her apron and complained about losing valuable prep time. Mia, wiping down her conveyor belt, nearly frowned with concern. Daniel stood in the break room already, vest still on, hands clasped in front of him. Mia noticed he looked different, tense, almost pale. "You okay?" she whispered as she took a seat beside him. He swallowed. "Yeah, I think so." The room filled with scraping chairs and murmurs until Paul stepped forward, clearing his throat. "Corporate just informed me the new regional temp program is being reviewed. Apparently, someone has been gathering feedback." A few employees perked up, suddenly curious. Daniel felt their eyes turn toward him when Paul added, "And I've been told the temp is involved." Brent snorted. "What? Did he break something already?" Laughter rippled through the room. Mia shot Brent a warning glare. Paul crossed his arms, oblivious. "Look, let's get this over with. Daniel, they want you up front." Daniel inhaled deeply and stepped forward. He could feel Mia's confusion behind him, her instinct to shield him from whatever humiliation she assumed was coming. "Hi," he began awkwardly. "I know many of you still see me as the new guy. The temp. The one who asks too many questions and never knows where anything goes." More snickers. "But the truth is, I wasn't here to learn how to stock shelves." Silence crept in. That line alone didn't match any temp behavior they'd ever seen. "I wasn't here to observe workflow as a trainee," he continued. "I was here to observe everything as your undercover CEO." The room froze. Brent's chair screeched as he sprang upright. "Wait, what?" Tasha's mouth fell open. What?" Even Paul seemed stunned. "You're joking." Daniel removed his vest, folding it neatly on the table. When he lifted his chin, the posture was unmistakably corporate, steady, confident, authoritative. The transformation was instant. "My name," he said clearly, "is Daniel Hartwell, CEO of Hartwell Markets. And for the past week, I've been working alongside all of you to see how our stores run when no one from upper management is watching." The silence deepened, thick and uncomfortable. Some employees suddenly remembered every rude comment, every corner cut, every rule ignored. Faces flushed, eyes dropped, feet shuffled. Daniel didn't relish the discomfort, but he didn't shy from it either. "I saw a lot," he continued. "People avoiding work, people mocking customers, people treating each other with disrespect. And I saw managers walking past problems instead of solving them." Paul stiffened, but Daniel didn't look at him directly. And then, Daniel said, softening, "I saw something else." His eyes found Mia. "One person," he said, "who helped without being asked. Who treated every customer with genuine kindness. Who supported me. Someone she believed was the most clueless temp in history, without expecting anything in return." Mia's breath caught. "Daniel." He stepped toward her, but his voice remained for everyone. "You, Mia, reminded me why this company was built in the first place. To serve people, to help communities, to treat everyone, staff or customer, with dignity. You acted with more leadership in your quiet moments than most executives do in a boardroom." The employees stared at her, some ashamed, some stunned. Mia looked like she might slide out of her chair and disappear under the table. Me," she whispered. "But I didn't do anything special." "You did the one thing that matters most," Daniel said gently. "You cared." He turned back to the staff. "Effective immediately, Mia will become the new assistant manager of this store. And starting next semester, her college tuition will be fully covered by the company scholarship program." Mia gasped. My tuition." "Daniel, no, I can't." "You can," he said softly. "And you deserve it." The room erupted. Not in applause, but in stunned, shifting energy. Some employees looked humbled, some embarrassed. A few, including Brent, looked like they were reconsidering their entire attitude. Mia's eyes glistened as she stood slowly. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything, Daniel replied, his voice warm, steady. Just keep being who you already are. She stepped toward him, trembling with disbelief. I thought you were just a temp. He laughed quietly. Turns out I was the one learning from you. And as the rest of the staff watched, speechless, chastened, and maybe a little changed, Mia realized she had never been invisible at all. She had been the heart of the store. And finally, someone with power had seen it.